Whether you have a skin interest, a skin query, a skin trauma, or skin disease, I warmly welcome you to Heal Thy Skin, a podcast brought to you by Derm Health Co. I'm Marni, dermal clinician, dermoscopist, and your podcast host. Skin is deeper than beauty, and our mission is to build the largest platform of specialised practitioners focused on skin health and skin empowerment. Join me each week where we go deep into the skin and beyond to hear stories and education from leading practitioners on a journey of skin health. Hello, welcome to the Heal Thy Skin podcast. I'm Marni, your host, and today I'm speaking with Nicole Faccio, who is a podcast host and lymphedema patient and advocate. Nicole was born with primary lymphoedema, and it was visible at birth, mainly in her left arm. Her specific type of lymphedema is known as Milroy's disease, and it's categorised by significant congenital malformations of the lymphatic system. So she does have swelling in most of her body, including both legs, left arm, abdomen, parts of her back, face, and internal lymphatic masses as well. And for the most part, she's lived a normal life. She went to regular school, graduated with an engineering degree, and moved to New York City to pursue a career in tech. Most recently, she's moved to London, which is where we're speaking from, in the pursuit of her dream job. Nicole has adjusted her whole life around the needs of her lymphedema and decided that the only way she would be able to have a long, functional life was not to fight against it, but with it. You're going to absolutely love this episode where you really hear the lived-in experience that Nicole has had her entire life. The first question that I started by asking Nicole was what she thought was the biggest misconception about lymphedema.
The biggest misconception is not about lymphedema, it's about the lymphatic system. I think it's very not only misunderstood, it's not studied well. The studies and the reason, I have my health and my treatments is because of studies and people that have studied it and have done the research. But they only since the last century, end of the 1800s, since it really correlates to where technology started to develop, because it's such a hidden system to the eye that without technology, it wasn't really obvious that it was there. And the way they started studying, it's actually in weird ways, and there's a whole story around it. But the important thing is that still to this day, we are in the position in which most people don't even know the lymphatic system. When you ask about them about the lymphatic system, they think it's lymph nodes, which is true. It's part of the lymphatic system, but people know about it because of cancer, because they know that cancer attacked the lymph node. Therefore, there's a lymph node, but people don't understand that there's a whole system around all this and the importance of the lymphatic system in many body functions, specifically your immune system, which we can get to that later, which correlates to skin 100%. To in your digestive system. So the lymphatic system intervenes in the digestive system to decompose complex fat. Therefore, when people talk about detox, quote unquote, actually what people are talking is detoxing the lymphatic system. It's cleaning up the lymphatic system so that it's able to kind of work better and flow better in very common words and very simple words to explain it. But because usually when you have a very heavy food, or sometimes when people say that it's very heavy drinking, the system that it's overworking is the lymphatic system. So I think the correct thing is to talk about the lymphatic system misconception, but then that takes us into then the misconceptions about the lymphatic system diseases, which is the lymphedema is one of them. Because there's not only one, there's multiple, but lymphedema is the most common one. And the interesting thing, talking about primary lymphedema misconception, is that it's better known lymphedema through what's known as secondary lymphedema, which is the ones that are caused due to it's usually a surgery. And most people know about it because women that have had a mastectomy because of breast cancer get lymph nodes removed because the cancer attacked the lymph nodes. Therefore, they're at risk of developing swelling in one arm, whichever the lymph nodes were removed, therefore they can get lymphedema. So it goes into all this like rabbit holes of misconceptions. It's a good word to describe, but it's like not really known. And then it gets you to the problem of diagnosis, because if you don't know the lymphatic system, you don't know the diseases, how are you going to know the diagnosis? So people go through life sometimes years and years. Like the amount of stories of people being with lymphedema with 20, 30 years without being diagnosed, they just had some swelling. Those people were a bit lucky that maybe the swelling wasn't like super bad, that they were able to manage themselves without the proper treatment and diagnosis. But then something happens that it gets very bad, and that's when